Hi, good afternoon, everyone. How are you doing today? My name is Ashutosh Gupta. I'm part of pre-sales solution engineering team here in Sumo Logic. What we are going to talk today is about application observability. And just for a logistic perspective, we'll have a presentation followed by demo and then the Q&A. Please feel free to post your questions in the chat box or the Q&A section. We'll be taking you at the end of the demonstration. With that, let me go ahead. The agenda today is simple. Not too many slides, not too much of lengthy content. We are going to talk about what application observability from a Sumo Logic perspective we provide. What are the different parts of it? How we start with the troubleshooting. We'll talk about the service maps, traces and spans, and finally about the logs. Then we'll also talk about the unique features like a global intelligence for Kubernetes environment and how to benefit from that. If you talk about this, this is primarily talking about how today the observability, which is a kind of a term coming from a traditional monitoring to AI ops and those kind of stuff, how observability is different and how it works, right? So observability is something about knowing for and seeing the things which you don't even know the output of. So based on your input, how things are being seen. So the basic pillars of observability, if you see on the right hand side of it, is of course we all know is logs, traces, and metrics. Then if you divide these into the parts, right? So what metrics tells you is what's going on. It's like, you know, running high fever or a temperature, you know that there's something going on. And then where part is something like where it's happening. If you're talking about, again, the same example, where in the body things are going wrong, right? And then most important part, which is the most critical ones also, where the things are missing in the log of a lot of solution around is why part, right? How to answer how and why part. So that is primarily about the logs, where you go and see the issues in the log part of it, right? Now, if I go a little bit to the next level of it, and you can see that most critical, the most deeper down things are the why part of it. The data mostly reside deeper down. Most of the solution talk about metrics and the monitoring part of it, and then of course the part where you are doing the any kind of where things are happening probably, but not primarily on why it is happening. And that's where you have to get the root cause on and get the troubleshooting from, which of course will be helpful in a large environment where you have to see deep down analytics and in a faster way also. Now, here in Sumo Logic, how we collect things. This is basically our collection diagram, and this is not only for logs. We can collect logs, metrics, event, and traces from different sources. So, if you see, we are a SaaS platform. We are a continuous intelligence SaaS offering, and then we can collect data from everywhere. And if you see on the left, it is install collector, from where the data can be collected using the small agent running on your EC2 instances, your infrastructure devices, any appliances. And then this install collector will be sending the data, your logs, metrics, events to Sumo Logic through the secure connection. And then in the install collector itself, there are two ways to get the collection. It can be a centralized collection or a distributed kind of, you install collector on each and every devices as well. Now, if you talk about the right-hand side of it, the hosted collector method, you can collect the data from any of other sources like public cloud, your Azure, GCP, or AWS, which primarily is so many integration we already have, or any of your SaaS-based solution, your Okta, your one login. There are 50 plus integration which we have for specifically defined for your security kind of a solution as well. Then you can also get the integration with the G Suite, Office 365, Salesforce, and everywhere else. Now, the idea behind it, and yeah, before I go to the talking about where all we can collect and how we can collect. We can also collect through your any kind of a dockerized or containerized environment, and that's more important because you can see, discover, understand that what is going on, and for these ephemeral kind of a solution as well. So if you are on premises deployed your Kubernetes or Dockers, or even if you're deployed on your managed environment as well, it can be collected the logs and metrics from there. Also, we are very much well integrated with open telemetry solution, where you can instrument your applications data and get the data, send it back to Sumo Logic through the collectors, and from there using the various method and techniques, of course, and then it can be collected, and you can see what's going on in your environment to get the further insight and enrichment about it. Now, this collection itself is a secure way. We follow all the security certification, ISO, GDPR, HIPAA, etc. Specifically for the collection perspective, you can see that it's a HTTPS based connections. So it's collected using the standard TLS SSL based encryption method, secure connection method, and then sent to with a high encryption to Sumo Logic. Once data has been sent to Sumo Logic, it is also been when it's there in the Sumo Logic platform, it can be easily of course integrated with various solution. It can be most importantly, it's secure with a 128-bit AES kind of security certification, and these keys are being rolled over. So every time it will be rolled over, so data is in the rest is also very much secure all the time. So that's about the collection part of it. We collect it, then we enrich it, and then of course you will get insight and the out of the box content about it. So we have around 400 plus integration out of the box, and this numbers keeps on growing as well. Most important to know is this is this we can collect. I have not seen anybody, any customer or partners are talking about the collection is not able to happen from any of the source. I mean, you tell us the source where the data is, whether it's on-premises system, whether it's on a public cloud, private cloud, you can collect the data and get it to Sumo Logic for further analysis. Okay, so with that I'll be, so what we have, you all know that we are a platform. We are not catering to one of the specific requirements. Somebody says security analytics, somebody says operational analytics, somebody says a log management solution, or it will be a observability solution. So if we talk about the observability, and we as I said, the use cases can vary for different person, the DevOps guys or people in IT or SRE kind of scenario. So there can be usage, and the use cases are different, and we cater to all. From observability perspective, there are the couple of things which we can say that these are the quite unique to us. When you talk about, it's built for observers, as I said, and then this what it means is, if the integration itself is having out of the box content, out of the box dashboard, queries, alerts, which is available for you to immediately realize the value out of it, out of the solution. Then the time to value, the time to get integrated and get things running is also very short. So you collect the data, collect the metrics, start getting the insight about it immediately. The specifically on the observability side of it, the microservices data architecture, that kind of your changes, because it's a very ephemeral environment where things changes fast. The way it collects the data in a near real-time basis and show you in the deployment, and I'll show you in the demo as well, how easily, quickly you can identify the issues, how easily you can discover your infrastructure, is also very important in this kind of a scenario. Then visualization and exploration, you can go, as I said, you can go to each and every pod level or a container level as well in your Kubernetes kind of infrastructure. The correlation of the data between your traces, how this related to your metrics, and then how well you can go ahead and see which span, and the analysis about that span is available, which is very unique to Sumo Logic. Now, going further drill down, we have seen in our previous slide that how you can go from there to from traces to going to a log level, and then understanding why the things are happening wrong. People stop at the traces level and saying that, okay, this is a problem, this trace and span is a problem, and then go into a logging solution and see that which problem areas are there for that particular. But we connect the dot and see that where the problem end to end. Applied analytics, we heavily use power of machine learning and artificial intelligence to enrich, search, get the visualization and the data for you to get into what's going on. One example is simple log reduce and log compare function, which go and analyze each and every logs and get the data and details about it. Getting anomalies automatically is one of the key features using the machine learning, where it runs and get the based on the outlier function from your standard deviation purpose, that what is going wrong into the environment. Your traffic is not having some problem, say 5 days back, and suddenly it started getting problem. This is not a normal trend which is happening on the weekdays or a weekend. That kind of analysis can be done by the system as well. Then if you talk about the benchmarking, which is the last part, benchmarking and optimization, we also give you a lot of with our large set of customer, the kind of environment where you can go and compare based on what the globally people are doing, especially if I talk about the Kubernetes environment, or especially on the how the deployment happening across the world, and where you are based on that. So those kind of benchmarking features, those kind of dashboards are available, and then you can compare and see that whether you are doing the right things or not. There are multiple ways to do it. I'll show you in the later slides in the demo as well. Okay, with that, I will switch to my demo part of it, so that we'll have a more clarity in this particular environment. Let me go to the environment itself. So this is a Sumo Logic platform, and this is one of the I'll say fictitious coffee maker application, which you are going to see the demo for that itself, and it's of course based on Kubernetes environment. It's having a lot of traces, and then it's like a coffee maker application where you can go ahead and order a coffee. Along with that, some other items, and then of course related to that, there is a machine service, there's a caching service, and then there is a service for payment as well, and a couple of other related services, how they are linked together. And then of course this is based on there's a database which is running, and there's a front-end application which is running. How they're related, how things are going on, that is what is all about. We'll show you in today's demonstration. If you see this, for the first, let me go to the top of this chart, and this will give you a quick glimpse about how a little bit of a business analytics. So if you see this, how many visitors I have in last 60 minutes, that how what is the number of visitors I'm getting, say per minute basis, right? Then you see your visitors are coming from which platform, right? Are they coming from they're using a mobile devices, or they're using a, say a PC or a Mac? What sort of different devices, different platform they're using to of course order and then use this particular application. That kind of a bifurcation you can get here as well. Then going to the application and infrastructure owners, right? Who owns this? If you see that this is for a probably my own analysis perspective internally in my environment, I can see that who are the owners, who owns which of the application or infrastructure services, right? Going a little bit down, you see that there are different uh, of coffee available for this coffee maker service, and then you see this americano, cappuccino, and then again what people are ordering, what kind of booking you are getting over a period of time, that's 60 minutes, right? And then that there's a split between that kind of analysis also can be done. Then you can see based on booking, number of booking per hour, right? So somebody can see and monitor that in the morning it is too high, or the evening it is too less. Those kind of stuff, it can be shown in a real time basis. Again, booking split, that which in a different uh, format, you can see in the pie chart here, which kind of a service. And this is just an example. It can be anything based on your scenario. It can be a banking service, or some can be a retail service, etc, etc. So there's no limit about it. It's all about the demo which we are doing it right now. Then you see the orders over time, and again this order is like, how many number of orders we are getting, whether for different service, what is the failed rates, what is the success rate. And that's showing for the particular, this is at this moment is for a week. You can go ahead, drill down, go ahead in the see in the search box as well. I'm not doing right now. We'll take it to, take you through the different way, but give you the glimpse. This can be a different panels, and giving you what is going on into your environment, in your business kind of a dashboard. Then you see the order by dollar value, that how many orders are failed and how many others are successful, and what are the spikes, etc, etc, right? Then latency, most importantly, if your order getting delayed, right? If there is a problem in taking order, what is happening is if it is taking too much of time, right? So that kind of a and then how many transactions have this problem. So you have a something already set as a baseline, and then you can go ahead and see that what's going wrong in the environment. Now going down further, if you see, this is an order outlier. Then outlier function, if you some of you know that this function is very unique, which show you there's a kind of a gray area here, which is kind of your standard deviation, right? So say that in case of this, which is order, going down is not a very good sign, right? Why your orders are getting less for a particular period. Now that is something what is can indicator of, because you know that the morning your services are generally high, and the system itself will see that yes, it is in the range. But if you see there's something going wrong in this case, as I said, this number of orders at this moment should not be less than, say, some number. And then if you finds with the of course the help of machine learning, it finds, and the previous data, of course, it's work on a unsupervised machine learning. It sees there's a number of orders is going down, and it quickly identify it as an outlier. And what this pink triangles you are seeing, it is actually indicator of something goes beyond the normal routine. This is not what exactly happens in a regular basis, and that can be indicator of immediately to an action, saying that if there is an issue in my application, or if there's something going wrong or not. Now, here, before I jump into going to show you what is going wrong, there's one more indicator where people, and this might be a reactive approach, right? This is kind of, somebody is reading on the dashboard and seeing what's going on wrong. Now, of course, there's an alerting mechanism where you can, for each of this function, for each of this outlier, you can also write alerts, and then alert can be your email, your Slack alert, which you're seeing it right now in the my page, or it can be anything. It can be your Jira service ticket, your ServiceNow ticket, or anything else, whichever the webhook method you want to apply with, or any kind of any other channel where you want to get the notification. Now, in this scenario, what is happening is there's a payment service SLO error which is getting up, and the person can simply click here and go to the dashboard and see that what the error is all about, what this dashboard, and take it to you that particular dashboard and see where the problem is, and then start analyzing from there itself. So that's about the alerting and notification part, which is in the real-time basis based on this outlier function, or for my matter, any of this panel or dashboard. If you want to monitor something based on a particular, you say, the missing alerts or something on the particular threshold, you can create those kind of alerts as well. Now, if I talk about this, and if I have to really see that what's going on and what's wrong here, I can simply click on this pink triangle, and I can go and see the summary of it. And it says that what is the associated log. I can go to the all logs, I can go to error logs, and I can go to email signature. I will talk about it in a few minutes, and then how it works. Now, I probably trying to know what are the entities, what are the behind the scenes things are working in for this particular outlier, right? What is happening? So this shows that there's a machine service, which probably can be a problem, and then that is where the CPUs are probably this kind of CPU notifications are there. Then you have a crash loop backup kind of a scenario for your pods, which is probably the issue. And that there are multiple other entities and the environment. So what pod it is made of, what is the deployment, or what is the service. Of course, this is what we are talking about. And then what node it covers, what are the, of course, the namespace, and etc., and which cluster it belongs to. Now, this is primarily taking you to where you want to go ahead from here. You can simply go ahead, click on this open in, and now you can open in at a certain different ways. You can directly go to the log search and see what the problem is, and you can also go ahead and traces, spans, or metrics. But most importantly, first I want to look into that what is going on into my environment, and I have to really go and see that how my this environment is look like. So I go and click on the entity dashboard. When I click on the entity dashboard, it will take me to this particular explorer view, where this explorer view will be giving me is particular, and then there are a couple of ways I can look and visualize this. If I see this is a container machine service container, and then based on that container, I can see that what is happening on. I can go ahead and click on the namespace, and I can see that what this deployment is, what is happening is just in this deployment. I can see that the cluster is a TCP cluster, and then you can see there are a couple of pods which are failing, right? There's a pods which are having some issues. We can see the error by pods, we can see error by containers, container level as well. This is again collecting the data, and then each container level, what's going on. I can see the CPU by pods, what the problem is going on, why there is a high spike. I can also see the crash loop backup kind of a scenario where the pod is trying to get the memory, and then it's not allocated of that much memory and keep on failing, that kind of scenario as well. You can further drill down to CPU access level, those kind of scenario. Go to the different logs also, network statistics, what's going on into this. A lot of other details about it. What is the file storage? What is the file system around it? What kind of usage these pods are doing, right? And I can go further drill down and see what's kind of. I can see the terminated containers. What happened to those? So lot of enrichment and lot of from observability perspective itself, I can go to different parts of my this cluster and see what is going on into the environment. Now this is one way of looking at it. I can also go to my service view. I can go things by my service, right? So if I go to this and I say this same cluster in a different way, and then I go to my coffee bar namespace, I will see what's going on into my this environment. So similar content, and I can go ahead and drill down to different parts of it as well. I can see a different, what are the pods running, what is happening in the particular pod, or I can go to the different service. As I said initially, I can go again to the machine service and go to the container level or a pod level to understand why it is failing, what is happening. Go click on that particular pod and see if it is why it is not healthy. Again, entity wise, I can go to the different explorer view. I can go to the each log level as well to see that where the problem is. So the idea behind is I can go to different ways. I can go see the service view. I can go to namespace view. Generally, what you see in the solution around that you'll get the service. You have a defragmented kind of solution where you can discover the pods, but you're not able to relate that this service is all about. Here you can always have, because this is going back to the same level. It start from a matrix. It start from a of course in between the traces, as well as the logs, which will contributing all this dashboards to populate and get the discovery out of it, and getting the all statistics about what is going on into the environment. Now, rather than going into the logs and taking the action here itself, what I would like to do is I will go to my service map, and I can see how my this coffee service is working. Now this service view will give you a detailed back in a visual format, that how my services are related. So if I go here and say select my coffee bar app as an application name, I can see this coffee bar service here, and then there are connected services as well. Now I can either hide the remote services here, or I can keep seeing it. Now the other services, what you see here is maybe a databases or another other part of it, which may not be the application basically. Now what is happening is, if I want to go deeper and do the analysis about it, we can do it. For the purpose of this demo, I will keep it, I will hide it, and show you what is happening from the application side of it. So now if you see there's a coffee bar application, then it's connected to the a coffee machine service, and then machine service has a machine service, and water and the coffee machine coffee service out of it, I'm sorry. And this size of the circle is actually showing you that how many requests per second you are getting. So the bigger the size of the circle is, that shows that the service is having more number of requests per second coming in. So that is one of the important way when person who is deploying, and then understanding that which service is important and how much focus I have to put it to have more easier deployment for this. That's one way to look at it. Now, if you talk about the automatic anomalies here, for each of this red circles you see, that shows that there is some anomaly. There's something going wrong. And then if you click on any of the service, it will show you there is what are the entities again for this particular deployment, and what for this particular service. And then you can see that this service is made of what latencies are there, what is the result, what's the error per second, and those kind of stuff. Now if I'm going deeper down, and I'm trying to see, which I found in my previous explorer view, that there is a problem in my machine service, right? And I click on the machine service and say that okay, there's something wrong, which I found it, and I can go ahead and open this into my again log searches, entity explorer, or traces and span. For now, what I would like to do is I would go ahead and for this particular machine service, and I can go ahead and click on the trace service, traces for this, and I want to see that what are the different related service spans which is making this particular service, and making the finding out the root cause primarily. So if I go and click on the traces, I can see it's already filtered with the machine app name and the service name already. So you can see there are multiple traces which this particular service is going through, and then what are the time, the number of span it has, how much duration each of the spans traces are taking, number of errors, how much it is getting, all those kind of stuff you can get those for the particular traces. But I'm more interested in the number of errors, so I'll say errors, and I'll say the number of error should be greater than 0, and search for those span where the number of errors are at least more than 0, right? At least once error is there in this particular trace. So if I'll go to any of these traces, I can just pick and choose one of it, and go ahead and see. It will show me the each and every spans for this particular trace. So in this particular trace, if you say there's a trace ID, and then based on this trace ID, you have there's a click function which is happening. Then under that, if you see there's a HTTP post method which has been used, and then going into that, there's an order service, how much duration and time it is taking. I can go ahead and say that, okay, show me only the error, just hide everything which is not having the error. So I say show me only the error spans, and I can see it can go deep down to different level and show me where the problem is occurring on. I will just zoom in a bit so that it will be more clearer to you guys. If you see this, I can go to different parts of it, and then all these are spans, and then there are errors. The red lines are showing that there is an error. Now, if I go deep down and I say that this the last one, which is the HTTP post method, and it is showing the error, and I just click on it, it will show me again the summary of this particular trace, span, and then show me that whether I want to open it into the this particular span ID, or I go to trace ID specifically, or I can go ahead and see the logs for all the entities. I can also see that there are multiple metadata which is this particular span is based on. It's been enriched with comes with a lot of metadata already. A lot of entities which is again the machine service is based on, and what are the different the latency, request and error per second, which you have seen in the previous trace view as well, where I can go ahead and see that. Now, if I have to really go ahead and see what the problem is, let me I'll go to the trace ID, and I'll then run this search. I'll run the search in the log. Now this is where the why part will come up, and then you're seeing the service is having problem. You're seeing there's a problem in the service which is connected. You have seen in the your Explorer view that there's a problem. There's something going on with this particular coffee machine service. And now the why part which is coming, and then you're finding the root cause of the error, right? And it's that quick. It doesn't take different screens, different part of the survey for log. You're going somewhere else, and there's not correlation. That's everything is like connected dots. Now, if I closely look at it, and I'll see what are the error ones. If I see there's an error and it says that there's a missing some ingredients, and then if I go closely look at it, it says that there is a problem with and I probably go ahead and search it with the error kind of messages, and it's that simple as well. This query language which we have, of course, some of you might have already experienced. This says that it's simple and there's a missing ingredient, some missing grains are there with the coffee machine, and that is the reason this is not getting there's an error, there's an anomaly, and that's a simple way to look it into it. And so relating to this, it's it can be any service. It can be any service, whether it's in your environment, whether it's a financial service, whether it can be your retail services like this, or anything which is the idea behind showing you this is to, how you connect the dots, how you start from a service view, how you start with the explorer view, you go to your pods, you go to your namespaces, deployments, and then you can go ahead to root cause of the error. And that's probably all about the observability. You're covering each and every part of it. You're not missing, and there's no false positive. You're getting the right alerts, and you're getting the dashboards for particular environment, and then you're seeing where the problem is, and you're getting the root cause in a very minimalistic kind of time. That's about finding the root cause, and how the your observability solution works into this, and how easily you can find and get to the root causes. Now, what I want to show you, from the here onwards, I'll go to the second part of it, which I've just talked in the initial part of my presentation. We have something called global intelligence for Kubernetes, and this is nothing but it will give you the idea of how you compare your scenario, your situation, your infrastructure with global uh, globally, the customer, how they are doing, how they are performing, how they are, what kind of services they are using, not the name of service, they are not the it's a kind of benchmark where you stand but versus everybody else is doing in the world, right? And based on that, there's of course a business problem why you want to do it, right? There's a business problem is something like, do you have the example app which we have just shown it, this is the load balancer, and it's exactly that way that the deployment is. So you have a payment service, then you have a deployment on the say 3 ports, and then and there's a account service below that, and which is running on a database, right? Now, when you talk about the today's scenario, we see Kubernetes is there in the in our world already from few years. But what we are, when we go and provision it, when we go and deploy it, there are multiple scenarios where people are either over provisioning it or under provisioning. Over provisioning makes you life little simpler, but you have to pay the more cost, more money for from wherever you are taking that, right? Of course, and then there's a wastage in that. You are not utilizing it properly, right? So your request is say particular memory usage or a CPU usage, and then you're paying for more, you're wasting it, right? When you are optimizing on the cost, right? When you're trying to optimize it, you probably take a risk of performance issues, right? It happens when there's either out of memory, or the CPUs are high, your things are not performing well, and of course that leads to your customer experience and those kind of stuff as well. So what is the balance, right? How you want to do it? That's where our situation, where this kind of solution comes into play, where you say that where you want to be. You want to be into a balanced mode, or you want to be in a where you want to, your customers, similar customers like you, are into this number of deployment, your pods sizes are like this, your Kubernetes environment have this much of CPU and memory like that. So what where you want to be, and where the risk is. If you go too deep into optimization side of it, it may be risk of losing things, right? You're maybe throttling a couple of things. If you go to very again same point, if you go to reliability side of it, there may be cost and usage perspective, you're wasting, and then you're paying more what you're supposed to pay. So the solution which we are talking about will definitely help you out to understand that where you are and how things will work better for you, how you can easily understand that what should I do to be into the right shape and the right place. So with that, let me again go back to my demo environment and show you some of the things from a global intelligence perspective. So we have a global intelligence for Kubernetes already for DevOps kind of environment. And if I go click here in this, this shows you something like where the global benchmarks are. Global benchmarks for the cluster is like a 3.69. and I am on 3. So where the gap is? If the gap is too much, then of course I have to come up and then deploy things certain way. Then of course my deployment where the where the standard is all about. It's say 246 and I have deployed too many, right? So that kind of scenarios you can see. The same for the services and the namespace, how much you compare across, and this is on the real-time data basis from what you are, from what our customers are doing, and globally, and how you are there compared to your deployment, your services which you have there into your environment. So that's about the overview about of this. And if you go a little bit deep on the optimization side of it, which you have just spoken, I can see that I can go ahead and see history based on whatever I have done into my environment. Or I can say that, okay, look into my, say, 50% of my deployment and see that how I'm performing. What is the, how things are balanced, optimized, or how really I'm performing in the real time. So if I say that 50% of my history, it says that, okay, I'm pretty much okay on the memory side of it. But there is there is a risk. There can be a risk of going forward, because there's a 93% of the usage. Then if I go, what are the options available? If I go with the, say, optimized one, it will be, say, a little bit of risk. And if I go, say, balanced one, this much is my kind of a memory which should be there. And then if I were to say cost optimize, what should be the option I have? Similarly, if I go down and say that for different risk percentage, if I see in the three different option, which is the balance, optimize, as well as cost optimize, reliability optimize, and the balance optimize. So those are the things which I can go ahead. Same for CPU, I can see what are the percentage risk I have if I go with these three approaches. And that's where you can simply go ahead, and based on the global benchmarkings, I can see that what will happen and how I can deploy. And this will definitely help you out, guys, to get the real way of coming out of those over provisioning and under provisioning kind of situation. Similarly, if I go and see what my action plans are, if I can whether I should go, if I go with a, say, CPU request, and I go with a, say, current versus recommendation, where I will be standing, where I'll be going and seeing my deployments going, if I'll go with this kind of recommended approach. What kind of recommended request I'll be getting, right? So, and then those kind of stuff. You similarly for CPUs and all. So I'll not overload you at this moment for these things, but these are one of a few of the features which are very useful when you go and heavily deploying, especially on the Kubernetes side of it, and help you out to understand things better, and get the things much faster and easier to get things going at your place much easier way. Yeah, so for that I will take any questions if you have. Let me go ahead and read it out. Okay, I can see there's a question called, what is it called, in the ingestion data into platform, how does impact operational metrics, or how I would say there's not such any such delay so we have something called continuous here, where it's almost like a near real time, and especially with a hosted based collector, the cloud to cloud kind of a connection. I don't see any complaint where people are saying, okay, there's an ingestion delay or something like that. So I don't think there's any kind of a delay or issues, and because of which there is a you're not able to see your metrics or your performance degradation in terms of something happened and then you're not getting the proper metrics, because it's a kind of, as I said, it's a near real time. You get the as soon as the things are there, say in your S3 bucket or in your CloudWatch or any of your places from where the collection is happening, you can simply ingest, say, tell it, and as I said, it's a host-based collector mechanism where you get the data, ingest into the Sumo Logic platform, start analyzing as soon as you get it. So there's no delay in terms of I'll say enriching the metadata with the metadata and getting things ready for you itself. Then you have a question there as a follow-up. Do you support log collection edge? I need to, yes, we do support it, and we can probably take that question sometime and explain you how we'll do it. How do we calculate time taken in for ingestion from agent into the platform? So yes, good question. We the time taken from agent is something, of course, because agent based communication is based on your the kind of a I'll say connection which you are established between Sumo Logic. It's all HTTPS based. I don't think there is a delay or the kind of a lag or something which I generally see. As I said, there are a couple of ways to do it. One is your centralized collection. If you see, there are too many systems which are not connected or not getting not allowed through the infosec kind of scenario. You can have a single place where you can have one collection as at a central place and then send it to through a one installed collector to Sumo Logic and get the data from there to analyze it. Okay, then there is another question which says, if I'm reading it the right way, how do we establish traceability between component of applications? Is unique ID associated or application component needs to take care of it? Okay, so there, as I said, there are multiple ways of it. The trace ID is one where you can say that, and you don't have to worry about. As I shown you from my services view, you can go ahead and go to each and every service, and based on that application service, you can or application component itself, you can simply go click on that and say that, okay, now show me the traces, all the traces from there. And then you can go by your number of errors, you can go by the number of time it's taking, and then those the problematic ones from a troubleshooting standpoint. Of course, you can go to each of that trace to get into more span part of it. One more important point in terms of a Sumo Logic, you can also do lot of analysis on the span right itself, and that's very unique proposition where you don't have with any of the other, I'll say, solution where you can go to each of the span and make analytics about it. So that is what we call as span analytics, and you can go and see, create a dashboard how the particular span is performing. The most important point is we can slice and dice the data to see where the problem is, and then go deeper down to the level. And to answer your question again, it's not like you have to worry about which trace I should look into, which of the application component I should be looking at, which ID I should remember. The way you connect the dot is, go from a services view, go to the explorer view, go into your particular deployment, or from the services view itself, go see the problematic areas where the issue is coming or the alerts are coming in, and see where the problem is by just clicking on the traces or the metrics, or even just going to the particular log directly from there itself. Hope that answered your question. I don't see any more question. If you have anything, please put it on the chat. I'll suggest you go ahead, try things yourself. It's a very simple one. You can go ahead and click on this particular link. You can go and sign up, choose your deployment site, and then start using the benefit of it. There are a couple of learning the quick lessons, as well as kind of a cheat sheet, and the help is available. And reach out to us for any questions, if your queries you have, or our team who can jump onto a call and then help you out to get the things going. So if there is no more question, I'll close it here. Thank you very much for your time today. Have a nice rest of the day, rest of the week. Thank you very much. Take care.